Morning, BoobTube. Happy Sunday. Last night I had a doubleheader at ball hockey, so games at 4 and 6, so didn't get home till well after 7 o'clock. So the Leafs, who were hosting the Islanders, I didn't see the first period, and then second and third I kind of got home and I scarfed down some food, and then I had to have a shower because I stank. And so the rest of the game I kind of watched in little fits and starts here and there as I could. The way the commentators were saying is that it was one of the Leafs' overall best defensive efforts of the season. They did get outshot 33-23, but a lot of the shots were from the outside. Like, there wasn't a lot of good looks, and the few good ones that the Islanders got, Hutchison, who got a surprise start, made all the stops. So he had a really good game, a couple really good glove saves, and the stats were the game was pretty even. Like, although the Islanders outshot the Leafs, the Islanders also had to block more shots than the Leafs. Although the Islanders out hit the Leafs a little bit, the Leafs out face offed them quite a bit. So everything kind of was overall pretty even. And the power play Leafs, there's only one penalty all game against the Leafs in the second period, and they killed off that power play against them. So it was overall a pretty solid game. The scoring, low chance in the first period. The shots were only 7-6 for 13 total shots in the first period. There was no scoring. Second period, the Leafs opened it up a bit. Kapanen, flying down the left wing, made a nice little one-handed deke around the defenseman before he flipped a little pass past the other defenseman over to Engvall, who was in the slot, and he wired one home. And later on in the period, it was kind of looked like nothing was going to happen. Marner had it along the left boards and was just trying to make a play as he was getting pressured. And so he just kind of spun and flipped it towards the net, and Matthews was heading right to the net. So he just kind of deftly redirected it kind of right in front of the net past the goalie. So that was the 2-0 lead. And that's the way the third period would start. And again, it was another low-scoring period. The Leafs didn't get another goal till just over a couple minutes left, or just a couple minutes left. I think empty netter Hyman was able to ice it with the 3-0 lead. So that's the way it ended. Like I said, it was a surprise start for. Oh my God, I'm so tired. I'm like 43. I can't do all that exercise anymore. But Hutchison got the surprise start, and he played really well. Got a shutout, which was huge, I thought. So he's now, I think, won the last 3 starts in a row that he's gotten. So it just goes to show that all the panic about the backup goaltending situation earlier in the year, like, you really had, and I mentioned this a number of times, you had to read into the fact that he was being put in really shitty situations. And you can't blame a guy for, a sample of 5 or 6 games and he doesn't get a win, but his team's playing like shit in front of him, and he's getting all these bad back-to-back, second game of back-to-back situations. Like, it was just crazy. So it's really nice to see last night for him to keep this rolling and even pitch a goose egg. So, and I meant to mention this after the Rangers game, I think, because they switched things up. This was right after the Christmas break when the Leafs went into New Jersey, and Hutch got the first game of a back-to-back and won in New Jersey. And then they came home to play the Rangers, and they gave Freddie the second game of the back-to-back, and they lost. So it just goes to show, their infallible starter lost the second game of a back-to-back, right? Like, it just goes to show, like, you can't just say, well, Hutchison hasn't won a game yet. Well, there's more to it than just that, right? It's so funny the way things are now. There's no real loyalty, I find, anymore in certain respects, and the backup goalie position in the NHL must be probably one of the hardest positions to play in all of sports, when you're given such little opportunity to prove yourself, and when you can't in that small sample size, you're just cast away, right? Like, you're given so few chances. So Hutch is one of the guys that I've really been rooting for this year, and I'm so glad to see him convert on that. So so it's crazy. They've won. They've gotten points now in their 10 straight games, and I think they've only lost once in that span, maybe twice. But since Keefe became coach, they're now 15-4-1 or something like that. And it was interesting. They did a little, I think during the first intermission last night, they did a little thing Cassie Campbell did on young coaches now in the NHL, and how the lines of communications are open, and these young coaches don't force things. They adjust their game plan and their approach to the roster they're given. And I commented a long time ago, before I saw this last night in many of my videos, about how Babcock refused to do that, and that was ultimately his undoing. He was trying to get this team to play a heavy, grinding, more of a big man type of a hockey game, but that's not what this team is. There's like, and that's fine. Like, I like that approach, but that's not what this team is. Dubas has given him this roster, and Babcock tried to make that team play a game they are not suited for, that they don't want to play, and you saw how unhappy they were at the start of the season. Like, so I thought it was kind of interesting to hear them saying the same thing, kind of about, you have to take what you're given and find the best way to win with that group. And Babcock refused to do it, and Keefe is embracing it, and look at the difference in results, right? And a happy hockey team most times is a successful hockey team. Teams that are happy, they love each other, they love coming to the rink and playing the games. Even if you've got a team that's not all that talented, they're gonna overachieve, because your mental state of being and being positive and being happy can get you so many more wins a year, even that you don't deserve or that people didn't think you would get, rather than a team that's unhappy. Look how talented the Leafs team was or is, and look how shitty they did at the start of the season, right? So the whole your mindset and your happiness and your positivity and your confidence is huge. And that's a lot of what Keefe has done. He's just allowed this team to be who they are, play their game, and I think the results speak for themselves. So they keep on going, they keep on rolling. Let's see what this week brings. Have a great rest of the weekend.